Hello, everybody, and welcome to Woken Spurred, number 2, feat. Vanessa Kisuule. If you joined us last time, thank you. If you didn't, we forgive you. We're glad you're here now. My name is Harry Baker. I have the joy of hosting this at Greenbutt Festival each year, bringing some of my favourite poets to some of my favourite people, aka you, the Greenbutters that are watching this. And so this is continuing in the online realm. I will start off with a couple of poems, then I will bring on our very special guest, Vanessa. I can't perform much, but I'm writing lots, so I've got a couple of new ones, and I'll slip a couple of old ones in as well. This first one I wanted to finish for this because it is a poem for rescheduled events. I started writing it thinking about what it would be like to perform on stage again and how I wanted to mark that occasion. And then it became a poem for my brother-in-law and his fiance who are going to get married. I haven't been able to. And it's also for Greenbelt, and it's all of those things combined. So I hope you like it. It's called A Rescheduled Poem. And it goes like this. This wasn't how we pictured this. It definitely wasn't when. But the best part of best laid plans laid bears the chance to start again. The who is almost what it was. The where's not quite the same. For all that's happened in between, the why remains unchanged. When they told us we couldn't do this, we heard we couldn't do this then. When they said it's not possible, under our breath we muttered yet. Unless it meant something to us, then we would not have fought for this. The fact that we are here at all shows how important it all is. Because this is not some shoddy sequel, it's a banging remix. We have had time to crystallize and realign what we believe in. If anything, the first time round was all too easy. It's not what any of us wanted. It has become what we all needed. Because when this was under threat, we did not run the other way. We stood our ground and we announced it will get done another day. For us, the question wasn't if or when, simply a case of how. The joy of not doing it then is that we get to do this now. The race may be named for the hurdles, yet we celebrate the jumpers. The storm may come, but in amongst it, we're the ones who hold the compass. We only hibernate through winter, so we get to see the summers. This has come over us all, but we won't let it overcome us. It's not the hiccups we remember, it's how long we held our breath. We'll cling that much closer to life for having come closer to death. We will be softer and laugh longer when it comes to this attempt. For as they say, first are disrupted by a global pandemic, second the best. There we go.
Clap, clap, clap.
We're here, we're live. Thank you. I would do one more new one, then an old one, then I'll bring on our special guest. This poem was written for Grace, which is the church community I grew up in. And it was one that encouraged creativity. So that's always been something I've aligned with faith and what that means to me. And Greenbelt, I felt, has always been a place where that is celebrated. And the title of this service it was written for is the words, God is now here / God is nowhere, depending how you read it. And I like the idea of things that can be read two ways. And so I looked into it, and turns out there is a term for this. It is contronyms or auto-antonyms, which are words that can mean the opposite of themselves, such as to cleave can mean to stick together or to take apart, or to screen can mean to hide something or to show something, or more recently, for some reason, literally has become meaning not literally, which frustrates me no end. However, I wanted to try and find some of these words and see if I could celebrate both meanings. And so this is my attempt to do that. And these words are also known as Janus words, named after the Roman god Janus, who is always pictured with two faces, one facing forwards and one facing backwards. And for me, I think what this time is, if nothing else, is a time of looking forwards and looking backwards as a way of coping with the now. So it's a long introduction as a way of saying this is a prayer to a two-faced God. And it goes like this. May you be with us presently and presently. May you enable us to bolt to you and bolt to you. May you hold us up when others hold us up. May you overlook the things we overlook. May you stand fast for us when the world moves too fast for us. May you be tough for us when things become too tough. May you help us buckle up before we buckle. May you be left with us when everyone has left. As we refrain from day to day, we pray you'll stay as our refrain. May we be ready to strike whether we strike or not. When we are thrown in at the deep end, may we still depend on you. When times are rocky, may you be our rock. And when the system's fixed, may we have the courage to fix the system. May you free us from what binds us so we may be bound for more. May we wear our best selves out before we wear our best selves out. Whether or not it weathers us, may you help us weather the storm. As we look forward to when we look back on this as two-faced gods, may you wind us up to go before we go and wind up God. Cheers. And then third one, this poem is called 22. And the reason why I'd like to do it is, one, because whilst we are performing online and finding alternatives for that, I'm still just speaking to a screen, and that feels weird. And one thing I miss is the actual act of performing. And this is one of my favorite poems to perform. But also I was reading a sort of thread of people saying they were finding it hard to be motivated to write and why that was. And someone said it was simply because it's hard to know why we do this. The whole ground this is based upon is shaken. And so I wanted to try and write something to remind myself why I do this. And the last time I did that was when I was 22, as I was finishing uni, trying to work out whether it would be possible to go into this. So this poem is called 22, and I'm going to try and perform it to you rather than just read it, whatever the difference is. It might just mean I stare a bit more intensely at the camera. But this is 22, and it goes like this. I've spent most of my life trying to fit in. Now I'm realizing maybe I was made to stand out. That's not a bad thing. We're all made different. Bits of DNA different. But from a young age, we're not encouraged to stay different. We're chucked in school uniforms or made to fill out uni forms in ways that placate to make donkeys from unicorns. They say, don't be too unique or no one will like you. But this is for the ugly ducklings or reluctant to be riotoos. Only you are capable of knowing what you might do. Beauty's in the context of those that it's applied to. In my view, swans sound like cack and pigeon speak in haiku. So for the second time in my life, I'm palindromic. The path I'm chosen isn't renowned for having logic, but every day I wake up, best believe I'm glad I'm on it. I knew this would happen. The problem with not performing is not having practice. So I've got my book here to remind myself of the words, and also to subtly remind you that I have a book. I'll go from where it cut out. For the second time in my life, I'm palindromic. The path I've chosen is not renowned for having logic, but every day I wake up, best believe I'm glad I'm on it. 11 years ago, I couldn't imagine college. So 11 years time, something I have not acknowledged. I have no desire to be sat in an office. That's a struggle with a plan, if I'm honest, right now. I'm focusing on making the intangible solid. I've had my passion to the extent I get stamina from it. I'm 20-something and my friends are getting married or on it. I've just found someone who will hold my hand if I want it. I mean, we're living in a time where most banks are the robbers. We've all lost interest at the hands of their profits, but your worth is not determined by the cash in your wallet. And if they tell you it is, then that is absolute nonsense for me. Success ain't having a lot of inanimate objects. That's just a term that they happen to polish. For me, success is being happy, being you. So find a way of being you and being happy. Not the you for you need to be, the you know you are. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are incredible. My dad taught me about the gift of not fitting in. So in a way, these things I say will embody a bit of him. It's 2 twos now. Knock, knock, who's there? More boo-hoos now. Less telly, less tubby, there is new news now. I've been to weddings of those I thought were too young to get married and funerals of those I believe too young to die. Some things never change. Most seem to. The final show isn't the same as the read-through. We try Control X, Y, Z to cut, undo, and redo, but nobody can do we like we do. Scene 2. I feel the age of those that I looked up to well when I looked up to them. Thinking that it's up to them, I guess it's up to us now. Some things I've just about sussed out. I've still got enough doubts, yet somehow it's feeling less impossible. My mum taught me it might take a while for folk to see your hidden worth. So in a way, these things I say will embody a bit of her. I still adventure lots. I still enjoy getting lost. I still hope computer games in any way I'll ever get a boss to try maintain a face more jelly tots than lemon drops to rather learn from my mistakes and be a clever clogs that's never lost their all. Taking that time just perfecting me, and I've still got love for the streets. It's the DRE. AM to PM. One in a Christina million. Yeah, I'll take broken beautiful over the pristine and brilliant because I'm 15 a kid again. You had to see things for this chapel. Look up, my Sistine ain't finished yet. older bro, and you assist with me committing till the bitter end. So in a way, these things I say will embody a bit of them. Well, I don't mind a masterpiece. I'd rather masterpiece of mind, at least till I've anesthetized that feeling of failure. I am no longer an awkward teenager. I can still be awkward. I'm just not a teenager. These days, no matter how much natural talent I happen to have, I am too old to train to be a Jedi. And as the days pass across and head by, it is less and less likely I will get scouted to play for Chelsea. We'll see. Because this world is not perfectly round. There's enough corners for us all to find a niche to pour affections, a niche to pour reflections that help us see different. Because things can be different if we believe in the people who believe have been the reason for everything I do. So in a way, these things I say will embody a bit of you. Shout out my fam. Luke, Chris, Dave, and Sam. John Birch, Grace Ray, and Andrew Stans. Because the future's unknown, aka fun zone. I mean, I've done known, you've done know, I'm ready for the next step. Don't quite know what to expect, but those have been the best yet. So on your marks, get set. Thank you so much. Okay, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you our special guest this week, the one and only Vanessa Kisuule, who will be appearing on screen with me right now. Hello, Vanessa.
One of the worst. Hi, I'm well. That was a great set. One of the worst things about performing, on these sort of Zoom stages is just the weird abyss between poems where there's no sound and no acknowledgement of what you've just done. So I just thought I'd give you a little bit of a.
That was very kind.
Crowd hype. I'm sure everybody watching at home is loving it and clapping and really engaged and immersed. But it's hard for us to know from this end of the screen. So,
the best preparation I've had for this is doing performances in schools to like a room of teenagers and being met with silence and just telling yourself that deep down it's moving them within their soul. Mm-hmm. I will let you perform. I'll be behind the scenes cheering you on, but I'll hand it over to you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. Woo! Oh my God! It's Vanessa Kisuule. I'm gonna be more effusive than any audience has ever been about me reading poems. I might as well. I'm gonna be the audience that I want to see in the world. Hey, why not? Right? We've got to innovate with these new and quite brilliant formats that we've had to resort to try and maintain connected and have the arts at our fingertips. And as much as we have to adjust and it's all a bit strange and nothing will replace the liveness of performance, I'm quite excited by all the ways we're discovering to still write and create and to perform. And I feel like this is the tip of the iceberg. So it's exciting. And the whole kind of doing my own applause thing is just, one of many innovations that I think might stick after this weird COVID time we're in. Okay, so I'm rambling on and on because it kind of feels like I'm talking to myself. This is like a lovely little insight into the meanderings of my brain. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. So I'm going to do a poem now. I'm going to introduce my friend that is currently with me. He's a pretty frisky fella. Calm down. I'm going to introduce you in a minute. This first poem is actually about him. That's my housemate Rox in the back. No, don't apologize, Rox. It's all good. Just wave. There could be thousands of people watching you. Enjoy the fame. So this guest I'm about to introduce is my muse for the next poem, and I just feel like it would be remiss for me to not have him as part of this performance. He doesn't usually get to go out in public, so he can't come along to gigs normally. Give it a minute, man. Play it cool. So without further ado, it is the one, the only, Ollie the octopus. Hey, Ollie, man, how you doing? You good? Yeah, he's good. He's hyped. He's excited. Okay, so this is Ollie. And I'm going to do a poem now called Octopus. I don't know if you're an octopus fan. Octopuses make me so happy. I love how smart they are. I love how they look like what snot would look like if snot was like magic. Anyway, let me do the poem. You ready, Ollie? Yeah. Okay, Ollie's ready. I'm ready. I hope you are. This is called Octopus. Octopus! There and there again. Lacerations of limb, angsty and anxious, like thoughts missing their anchors. Octopus, unwitting victim of bad PR, unwilling star of monster myth and niche Japanese porn. Octopus, you move how a child moves, how a Harlem jazz band jams, how cigarette smoke blooms, how loneliness meanders, nomadic, able to squeeze into the tiniest of spaces. Octopus, damn, you are just the coolest. Octopus, proto-punk whip muscle, hench quasi-jellyfish, cautionary tale, misunderstood, solitary, unsung alien emo of the ocean. Octopus, tentacles lace behind my ankles. I am pulled forward with a soft smack. The ocean licks its salt-rimmed lips. Did I mention I'm not the most confident of swimmers? Did you press your fingers to my neck in search of a pulse or gills? Octopus, you terrify me. Octopus, I see myself in you. Octopus, I'd like to strike up a friendship with you. We'd watch back-to-back episodes of Planet Earth, which is kind of like the aquatic world's Instagram. Pornographic spikes of light rippling the grey into green and then blue and back again. Schools of fish glinting like sweet wrappers. Coral reefs winking. Starfish splayed out like acquiescent assholes on a background of gorgeous turquoise. My new pal will turn and look at me as if to say, what a beautiful home I have. No, I barely recognized it. Octopus. The plural is actually octopuses, not octopi. The valve of the last syllable spits and hisses, never quite finishes, will not give in to crisp diction. It demands you sit patient with its aftertaste. Octopus. They change color, less like chameleons and more like mood rings. I don't want him to hear this last bit. As they perish, they turn white as a gasp. Thank you. Ollie's so hype. Ollie's so hype. I've been telling him that he can't come to gigs because he gets overexcited and he just wraps his tentacles around people's necks, you know, just for hugs, just for vibes. But, you know, people don't really see it that way. His suckers are stronger than he realizes, bless him. But yeah, now in these COVID times, he's really able to come into his own, and he's becoming a really regular feature of my sets. He's kind of actually sort of overshadowing me a bit, and people are starting to get gas like, oh, where's Ollie? You know, I'll be on my like friend Zoom quiz and they'd be like, oh, where's Ollie? And it's like, oh, you don't care about me anymore. What's this about? So holla at me if you've also been usurped by a stuffed toy octopus. You know, it's tough in these COVID streets, you know, unprecedented times we're living in. So this next poem I actually wrote, it was a request for someone who had asked for a poem for their young son. And this was probably only about a week or 2 weeks into lockdown. And I think we were all still reeling. And maybe a lot of you are. I'm somewhat adjusted now, as adjusted as one can be. But yeah, it definitely still felt very fresh and very raw at this time. So yeah, she wanted a poem for her son, just something that spoke to this strange reality of not being able to go outside, and how on earth you begin to explain that to a young child. This poem doesn't actually have a title, but we'll call it Magpies for now. And this is how it goes. Oh, no, that's the wrong poem. Hold on a minute. It is, here we go. This is it, Magpies. Are we going out today? You say, limbs thick with gluey boredom. Books and tellies well and good, but a growing boy needs his hungry canvas of sky. The dew-gemmed grass at the park christening his plimsolls. You ask again, nose pressed to the glass. Not today, I say, recalling how it was to be small, bemused by grown-ups, their tight frowns and grieving shoulders. I brought you into a world I do not know. All I can do is discover it with you. We sit by the foggy window, our secret cinema. A squirrel runs across a wall. You count the magpies, wave back to a lonely tree in the neighbor's garden. You press your perfect hands to my wet cheeks. Tell me it's the best film you've ever seen. Best poet ever. I stop. Le blush. I've probably gone over because I've been chatting so much utter nonsense. So what I'll do is I'll do one more poem, and it's actually not one of mine. It's a cover. It's been a real joy and a privilege, and I'm aware that a lot of people don't have this in our current situation, to be able to take the time to sit and read a lot more than I normally have time to. So I've been dipping in to poetry that I already owned and buying lots of poetry as well. And this is a beautiful collection. It's Liezel Mueller. She's a brilliant German poet. And I've been dipping into this every day and just discovering so many gems that I've been returning to again and again. I keep forgetting to read a new one because I want to reread one of the amazing ones I read, the other day. So it's the best that poetry can get, in my opinion. Liezel Mueller. Please go check her out if you like this poem I'm about to read. And this is called The Blind Leading the Blind. Take my hand. There are two of us in this cave. The sound you hear is water. You will hear it forever. The ground you walk on is rock. I have been here before. People come here to be born, to discover, to kiss, to dream, and to dig, and to kill. Watch for the mud. Summer blows in with the scent of horses and roses. Fall with the sound of breaking. Fall with the sound of sound breaking. There we go. Winter shoves its empty sleeve down the dark of your throat. You will learn toads from diamonds, the fist from the palm, love from the sweat of love, falling from flying. There are 1,000 turnoffs. I have been here before. Once I fell off a precipice. Once I found gold. Once I stumbled on murder, the thin parts of a girl. Walk on, keep walking. There are axes above us. Watch for occasional bits and bubbles of light. Birthdays for you, recognitions. Yourself, another. Watch for the mud. Listen for bells, for beggars. Something with wings went crazy against my chest once. There are two of us here. Touch me. Thank you so very much. I've been Vanessa. This has been Resident Attention Seeker, Ollie the Octopus, and you've been you. And thank you for being you. Amazing. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Vanessa.
You're really welcome.
You're amazing.
He's all tangled in my head. Ollie, man. Is it every day? Mess up my gig.
Yeah, this is how I feel with Chris on stage with me. He's cute. He's got a brighter smile. No one knows what he brings, but it's not the same without him. It's just a classic double act dynamic.
Classic, man. We need to mutiny because those two are trying to steal our shine. They're trying to do something. I'm
thinking next year, Greenbelt, Ollie the Octopus solo set. I don't know how else to break it to you. We'll see.
Did you have to do this in front of the millions of people watching right now?
I don't know if the budget was stretched to Ollie, but
okay. Well, I'll send you his email and you guys can negotiate further. But I'll let you know now, he finds it very hard to type with all of his tentacles. So good luck. Sure. Good luck liaising. All right. That's all I'm gonna say.
Thank you. People can buy your book. There's a link down below. People can
please do. Please do buy my book. And that's £10. If you aren't necessarily financially in a place to do so, you could always just donate a couple of pounds to my Ko-fi page, which is kind of like a tip jar of sorts. yeah, any support you want to throw my way is much appreciated. But thank you just for tuning in and listening. That's also wonderful. So yeah, whatever floats your boat.
Thanks for coming on. I'll give you one last whoop as you disappear from view.
Okay, thank you.
The one and only Vanessa Kisuule. What a champion. I will do one poem to finish, and then we will see you in 2 weeks' time once again. Thank you for tuning in. This poem is the one that I was finishing my current tour with this week. I was actually going to take a week off because it was going to be just before my final day of the tour. And it feels weird to be taking a week off when you're already not doing things. So I'm here, but I wanted to do this poem as acknowledgement that I was going to be doing other things. And it's simply called An A to Z of Time and Space. And it came out when I was sort of embracing maths in my life alongside poetry. And I think the two things do overlap. And one way they do is noticing patterns. That's always something that's fascinated me. And I think now one thing that's come out of this is having more time to pay attention to what's around you. And so this is simply a celebration of some of those patterns, and it's called An A to Z of Time and Space. First there was nothing. I'm talking nothing but nothing, then there was something. In amongst that nothing was something. And something somehow split into some things, and some things even managed to become things. So take Adam. Adam was added up out of atoms. Before that, it was black and barren. Then it became big and banging. Out of the chaos came countless crazy complex patterns. And then dun, 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 dinosaurs happened. Through evolution, everything's edited every day. That's how we fine tune, finesse, and then finally find a way. Just as the galaxies have got into gear, the game changed because hip, hip, hooray, Homo sapiens came. And we invent, imagine, inspire, and innovate. We journeyed from jamming in caves to jamming jam in a cake. That knack for knowledge knitted and knotted away like silent caves. We learn the language of living, often a little late. We make music. We maneuver mathematical methods. We've noticed and noted the nodes of our own neural networks overflowing, outpouring, open mics to operatics where the pork percentage purported in pepperoni packets because we question. From quick quizzes to quantum quarks, revolutions of the heart to renaissances of art, you see scriptures and science seek signs of the sublime. Meanwhile, through trees triggers the entirety of time. Our universe is unfinished, but utterly underway. Its vibrancy vibrates via ventricles, valves, and veins. You see, we wonder and we wonder. We explore and we explain. We yearn for what is yonder. As we zoom out into space, we can forget that we were not the first to be here. By any stretch, we will not be the last to leave. And whilst we can't control our history or know our distant future, we can make the most of what might lie between. We can be kind, and we can accept the kindness of others. The world shows us what we allow ourselves the time to discover. We can listen, truly listen to another person's needs. Not just wait until they stop talking to take a turn to speak. We can be brave enough to try and make all kinds of mistakes. We can be playful, because what is a life without play? We can remind ourselves each day it's not too late for new beginnings, when a single moment can hold the whole universe within it. Because when we zoom out, we realize how small it becomes. Either none of this matters, or all of it does. From atoms, Big Bang, chaos, dinosaurs, evolution. The fine-tuning of the galaxies to humans. Imagine that journey of knowledge through language and music. Notes overflow with the poetry of quantum revolutions. As the sublime trickles through the universe's veins, we wonder, explore, yearn, and zoom out once again. Because when we zoom out, we realize how small it becomes. So either none of this matters, or all of it does.
Yay!
Learning to cheer myself, inspired by Vanessa, as in all parts of my life. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed either of us and want to support us, there are links below. We've both got a Ko-fi page where you can donate. We've both got books you can buy. I am doing a weekly gig on Instagram, Harry Baker Poet, 7 p.m. on a Wednesday if you want to tune into that. Otherwise, I'll be back in 2 weeks with Erin Boland's festival favourite. Please do follow Vanessa for what she is up to. Soon, Ollie will have his own Tumblr page, I reckon. Who knows? But thank you for tuning in. Lots of love to you. We will see you soon. And Greenbelt, I've got loads of stuff going on. Please check out all of those. Otherwise, stay safe, stay happy, stay you.